Hey, Coach Colin Castell here with Shot Mechanics Basketball, and welcome to another episode of the Ask Coach C series. Today we got 3 great questions that I'm going to answer that are going to improve your game.
All right, so the first question comes from Derek Knoll, and he wants to know, what finger do I shoot with?
Good question out of the gate. I like where we're starting with this one, and I get asked this a lot. So I personally am a middle finger shooter, meaning that my middle finger is in the center of the ball and it's the last to touch it as I release. Now I finish with my middle finger pointing towards the ground and my other 2 fingers pointing up just slightly, kind of like that. The reason why I do that is it keeps the tension out of my wrist. If I try to go 4 fingers down, I get a ton of tension in the back. So I just go middle finger down, other 2 slightly higher. You know, when you ask what's best, it's really relative, right? That's where a lot of coaches go wrong, is they say everybody has to be a middle finger shooter, everybody has to be an index finger shooter. But the issue is not everybody's the same, right? My fingers are different than other people's, my arms are different than other people's, our body biomechanics are all different. So, you know, really there's kind of 3 main releases that I like my athletes to use, but it really depends on their own body and their own comfortability which one they like. So it's really hard for me to give you an exact answer of what's best. For me, middle finger works best. For other people, it's index. For other people, it's the split finger where your V's in the center of the ball. I got kind of a funny story. I was playing basketball the other day, playing with a kid who was probably about 22 years old, just out of college. And he came across me and he said, "Hey coach, I just stumbled across a video where you're talking about an index finger shot and it blew my mind. All through high school, my coach told me I had to be a middle finger shooter and I was super streaky and super inconsistent. If only I would have known that the index finger was an option." So he tried out the index finger, and what do you know? He's lights out with it. So really, it's not about what's right, what's wrong. Instead, it's about what's right for you. And if you can figure that out, you're gonna be a long ways down the road, way ahead of the other people that you're competing against.
All right, the next question comes from Chris Byrne, and he wants to know, "Hey coach, I've been making my shots during practice, but not during games. I do in-game speed drills, but I still can't make my shots go in. I have a good follow through, but no backspin. Please help."
All right, I love that you asked this question because it's a massive epidemic that happens to a ton of athletes. Now, everybody wants to hit in-game shots, but the problem is not very many people can. And there's a few different reasons for it. Now, you talked about shooting, shooting fast or shooting game speed and drills, and that's the first step, right? But it doesn't always do it just on its own. You know, a lot of kids think that if they're shooting game speed in a drill, then that's all they need to do. But really what it comes to after that is the specific drills that you're doing, right? If you're just shooting game speed, a lot of catch and shoot jumpers, that's all you're gonna be good at in games. So what I like to talk about is I talk about eye training, right? I talk about how our eyes are finding the target and aiming at the target. And I think it has a huge deal with being a great shooter and a great scorer. So let me give you an example. So if you're just shooting catch and shoot jump shots where the ball's coming from a rebound or underneath the basket, your eyes are only working one direction. You're working on catching and then finding the hoop straight in front of you. Catching, finding the hoop straight in front of you. So that's the only eye movement that you're working on. Now, once you get into a game, your eye movement's gonna change dramatically. The ball's gonna be coming from the left, it's gonna be coming from the right, it's gonna be coming over your shoulder, you're gonna catch it high, you're gonna catch it low. So your eyes are always going to be constantly trying to focus in different directions. And that's the problem that a lot of kids have, is they only work on one type of eye training, so they get into a game and their shots are going to miss just slightly. Remember, basketball is a game of inches, right? The difference between a swish and a brick is only about 2 to 3 inches. So it makes a big difference depending on how you train your eyes. I got a lot more of this sort of stuff coming in the future, so keep an eye out for it.
All right, next question comes from Andrew Kim, and he wants to know, is it bad to have my non-shooting hand on top of the ball so that it is parallel to my shooting hand? If so, how do I fix it?
Ooh, love this question. Now, a lot of people get caught up on what their guide hand's supposed to do, right? I get questions a lot, you know, is it on top? Should it be in front? Should it be on the side? Should it be underneath? And really, in the long run, it doesn't matter as long as the guide hand's doing what it's supposed to do, just guiding the basketball. Where you get in trouble is if the guide hand is causing you to miss in some way, shape, or form. So, you know, kind of in a roundabout way, your guide hand on top or on front of the ball isn't a big deal until it's changing the rotation of your ball or it's changing your shot. So the best way to do it is to get yourself on camera, figuring out, you know, kind of how you're missing, why you're missing, and then from there you might be able to see if your guide hand on top or on the front is causing a miss, then you might want to change it. Pretty much kind of the general rule of thumb that I like to talk about is what I call T-thumbs, meaning that as you bring the ball up, you want your thumbs to make a T shape. I'll kind of go here so you can see it. So I've got my shooting thumb right here and my guide hand thumb here, so they make an uppercase T. That way as I bring it up, I know my guide hand's on the side of the ball and everything should be in alignment. Doesn't work for everybody. Some people like it a little higher, some people like it a little lower, but it's kind of a nice reference for a starting point. So give the T-thumbs a try and see if that helps you out. All right, don't forget, if you have a question you want answered, leave in the comment section down below, because that's where I pull them all from. Also, if you see a question that you also want answered, hit that thumbs up button on the comment. That way I know that a bunch of people want to see it, and I'll probably be more likely to choose it. All right, you can also hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That way you get all our videos as soon as they come out. And if you're new to shot mechanics, you're gonna want to hit this button up here, or the link in the description, get a free copy of my top 3 favorite shooting secrets. These are shooting secrets you can plug directly into your game, and they'll probably increase your shooting percentage overnight. Again, I'm Coach Colin Castello, Shot Mechanics Basketball. Thanks for watching. Splash on.